Good evening. Welcome to day 789. Apologies for the radio silence and big gap, but it was, we got hit with rain on Wednesday, Thursday, day 7 and 8. So all we were doing was processing grapes that we get from another sub-region within the Mosel. A lot of rain, which kind of put the brakes on picking as you'd expect, but allowed us to kind of catch up and get slightly ahead for the madness that was going to pick up on days 9, 10, which was yesterday and today. So yesterday was a full day picking. We picked some Pinot Noir for the Spade Burgunder, which was really good. A nice change. Picking a bit of red, since it's obviously always been pretty much white here, so it was good to pick some red and taste some berries and all that good stuff. And then today it was pretty much a mix of cellar work and then out in the vineyard picking the big block of Riesling. So what I wanted to do is quickly just talk about the pros and cons of hand picking. I'll leave the machine picking until, or the machine picking pros and cons until I have a bit more information on that, which we start machine harvesting on Monday. So I'll be able to have a chat to a few more people and get their thoughts and ideas and opinions and stuff on it. So today, just quickly, pros and cons. Pros first. That I've discovered two. I mean, there's probably more than that, but I've kind of just bunched a whole lot together and come up with kind of two that I've been working with and noting down. In the first is accessibility. That there's just some vineyards that are just impossible to get harvests up. So the only way that you can get the grapes, obviously, is machine harvesting. Not just about getting the machines up there if it's too steep a slope or anything like that. It could also be that the vines are quite old, and when they were planted, X amount of years ago, they weren't planted with machine picking in mind, so the rows could be too narrow, so you can't get a machine harvester through there, and it could just be a different planting system, which makes it impossible to machine harvest as well. So, accessibility is a pretty big one. The second is is selection and the ability to select grapes quite specifically. This is obviously broken down into loads of cons from being able to select your grapes quite specifically. The first one I'll quickly talk about is experienced pickers versus inexperienced pickers. I am an inexperienced picker, having this is the first time I've done it. So I'm obviously a lot slower than some of the more hardened veterans that they have floating around here. The other thing which is quite important on experience is identifying different rots and different diseases on the grapes and being able to sort them and not pick them and not put them with the stuff that's going into the crusher. That's important because if you are picking for your any kind of level wine, say for example it's your premium, it's your quality Riesling, you will want the pickers to be able to identify the difference between vinegar rot and botrytis, because they are, to the untrained eye, quite similar. There is subtle differences upon how they look and how they smell, but to someone who doesn't know that and is just kind of looking to try and do it as fast as possible, we can easily get some vinegar rot mixed up with the botrytis, and then chucked into the crusher, and then that finds its way into the wine, which leads to high levels of volatile acidity. So an experienced picker is obviously quite valuable, and has the ability to do that pretty quickly. What I've been doing to kind of get used to it is just literally, if you're unsure on anything, is just to taste it and just to smell it. So you become pretty, I guess pretty good at identifying the difference. I can do it by eye now rather than having to stop and have a think about it and have a smell and have a taste. But if I do get one that are quite similar, or they're on the same bunch as they excuse me, as they are, just literally squash what I think is the vinegar rot, smell it, and that pretty much tells you what it is. So experience is pretty important. There is a winery that's floating around up here that's got a whole bunch of new pickers that haven't really done it before, so they've experienced, I guess, increased vinegar rot, and it's quite noticeable when you have, I guess, a big box. They have these big boxes that hold about 400 or 500 kilos, and you can smell the nail polish or vinegar coming from there. It's down to the bad selections, which comes with experience. So obviously as a pro, hand selecting and being able to pick really specifically, and also pre-pick is quite good. So just on that pre-picking, it is quite important, because it allows you to get rid of the rot or the berries that don't make the grade, which you can use for your entry level wine, and also pull off the leaf coverages, and it allows it to as I mentioned before in one of the video diaries, lose a bit of acidity and gain more sugar because of the extra sunlight, and from removing the leaf foliage, which you get from pre-picking. So that's obviously a part of selection and stuff like that as well. I might mix around a little bit the pros and cons, so they're not going to be in order, but a couple of cons just on that, which I think is pretty important to mention, is it is quite slow, and you can, for example, we have a group of about, I think there's on average 6 of us, maybe five or six of us on average, and we are bringing in, if I get this wrong I do apologise, but I think we're bringing in around a potential of anywhere between 1,500 litres of wine and 2,000 litres of wine a day. I think I do need to double check that, but we're pretty much filling a trailer up just before lunch. So we pick from 8 till 12, and then 5 till 6, you get another trailer. So you get 2 trailer loads, or 2 crusher loads of grapes. So it is quite slow. So you do lose the reaction time to be able to, if the weather turns bad, or you've gone out there and the grapes are ready to go, it's going to take you a couple of days to pick, depending on how big it is, obviously, but it's going to take you a couple of days, where a harvester will do it in hours. So that the speed is unfortunately a very bad thing. The cost as well is quite expensive, because if you have a think about it, 6 people, 10 hours a day for a couple of weeks, paying them, whatever. If you're in Australia, it's probably something ridiculous, like $25. I had a story the other day that was $33 an hour or something for picking, which was pretty crazy. If you're in the UK or you're around Europe, you're probably looking at like £6.80 to maybe €8.50, €8.50, €9, something like that. So a lot less, but still expensive. So yeah, money talks at the end of the day, and it comes down to how much you've got, how much resources that you've got to kind of you've got to kind of play with to be able to determine what you're going to do. What is interesting is that there is, I guess, that thought that hand picking automatically means better quality and than machine harvesting. Obviously, that's something that is pretty difficult to identify in a blind tasting if something's been machine harvest versus hand harvest. All I'll say on that is where I am at the moment. Willems have hand picked the majority of their entry level wine. So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because it's entry level, it's the cheapest. It's not very good, because it is good. It's been hand picked by by experienced pickers like myself. But no, it's cared for. It's slow, yes, but it's cared for, and people, the pickers, really do, go above and beyond and work pretty hard. Where just on the reverse side of that is the majority of the premium quality grapes here are going to be, some will be pre-picked because they're out in vineyards where the machine harvester is not able to go. But where it is able to go, what we've done is we've pre-picked, pulled down foliage, got rid of all the rot, so the machine will just go there and pick it really quickly. So it's almost a reverse of what of the conception that hand picking means better quality, because in some instances it's not necessarily about how it's picked, because the machines that they've got right now are quite modern, and they're very, very soft and very delicate with the grapes, and because you've done the pre-picking, all they're getting is good stuff. Obviously there's big wineries out there that'll just machine harvest everything, and they'll harvest the rot and they'll harvest the diseases, and they'll attempt to sort it out, but at the end of the day it's going to be a bit of a blend of everything, which is going to result in a cheaper wine. So I just thought I'd throw that in because it was a little bit. It's interesting. Obviously, this is only one example. I mean, it very well could. Yeah, there could be more. There may not be more. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that we've pre-picked the majority of their entry-level wines here, and the machine is gonna collect the majority of their higher quality, medium level, higher quality Riesling. So I'm sure there is more cons to that, but that was just quickly a couple of thoughts and a couple of points that I had in conversation today with the two winemakers here, and I've spoken for 13 minutes. So I'll have more in a few days. Looking forward now, we've got some Pinot for soaking away at the moment. It's looking pretty good. Had a taste of the juice today, which was awesome, and got some really good snaps. So we're looking forward to kind of working out. I think we're actually putting it in oak barrel tomorrow. I've also got some footage that I'll be posting finally of pretty much hand picking Pinot, and then de-stemming Pinot, and then chucking it in the press. So got some really good footage and got some pics that I've put up. So it's all happening. There's going to be more of that to come, and yeah, it'll be pretty hectic few days. Today was a long one. Did a lazy 13.5, 14 hours today, and Peter's still going. We've got a lot of grapes to process, so it's been a long day. It's going to be a pretty good week. I've got no idea what day it is. I've lost all. I can't even think of the word. But yeah, I've got no idea what day it is. But it's good. It's really interesting, good fun. The guys are awesome. That's all from me for now. But I'll be back. In a few days. Thanks.